Okay, so people want to record, they can. I'm going to record on the cloud, and we're going on Zoom now, and I have to mix my mixer, which is seems to be mixing okay at this end and mixing okay at that end.
Testing, testing.
Absolutely. Mine could be a little bit louder. No, it seems good. How is my sound to you right now, John, and others?
Beautiful. Crystal clear.
Okay, great. Okay, so let me see. We're viewing that on Zoom. We're also viewing it on live stream. So what we have is obviously a window on the side of a building, and it's got the KF logo. We were just talking about this, and so how big is this logo? This is in John's KF John's window. How big
Yeah,
is it,
this
John?
this sticker is 3 feet in diameter. It's about a 4.5 foot square window. It's
Okay.
my front window, and yes, I know I need to paint and get new blinds. That's coming, one thing at a time.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, I needed something to get the name in this little town that I live in,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking about different ways of doing that. And I thought, well, I'll spend $70 and I'll get a nice big window sticker like they have at the stores and stick it on my front window.
Hmm. Wow, that's a great idea. I like that. Mm-hmm. So I guess you can get a similar sticker sticky on the other side to stick it on the side of a door.
Oh yeah, you can. This was specifically designed to go on the inside of a window. So when you get it on a big sheet of paper, and it's backwards on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
And you start peeling the paper back, put the top edge on the window, measure it all out so it's centered and square and everything, and then just slowly peel the paper back as you rub it on the window. They even give you
Mm-hmm.
a little squeegee to do it with.
Squeegee, right? Take the air bubbles out. Right on.
And
Very
it's pretty
nice.
easy. You can get them for either side of the window. I wanted to make sure it was on the
Mm.
inside so it wouldn't weather.
Yep.
And you can get really thick vinyl that it's like a static cling. You can peel
Mm-hmm.
them off and use them in a whole bunch of different places, but they're kind of expensive. And that big a sign wouldn't work very well. So this is actually stuck on there. If I have to take it off, I got to take a razor blade to it and scrape it off.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
But it was the sign shop in town here. They did a really nice job. Um, really happy about it. Asked lots of questions while I was doing it.
Oops.
Okay, that might be coming from me. I don't think so, because nope, unless it's coming
maybe
through my mic.
maybe Sikander may have his live stream on at the same time as the Zoom, or two different Zoom channels happening or something like that.
Did
It
it get?
sounds fine over here.
Okay, good. Thank you. I got feedback from Tony and Robert that this sounds okay. So it's some other local anomaly, I'm sure. Okay. So anything else about the sign, or shall we
Well,
just?
I wanted to get a jacket, some shirts. Like not a sticker on the shirt, but actually embroidered. And it's really really hard to get that many colors in the embroidery. So if anybody out there knows anybody or who has a machine or anything like that, please let us know, because having shirts for presentations, a jacket with the logo on the back or on the breast would, yeah, I'll definitely pay the money for that, and I'm sure there's lots of people that would.
Well, this is something actually I like to get going in Canada from the Canadian Keshe Foundation Canada, and I was hoping maybe Guy would get involved with it, but maybe someone else or whatever. But to actually start offering T-shirts and other paraphernalia with the with the logos on it and have it available to ship easily to people in Canada at least, and maybe the U.S. as well, um, and have those same images available to other countries so they can promote in their country and so on. Maybe we could make sort of a little business out of it. Lots of people would love to have a T-shirt with the logo on it. I would think, you know.
Yeah, I was thinking like a nice black polo shirt
Mm-hmm.
with the logo instead of having a little crocodile, have the logo on there, and maybe a bomber jacket, some a nice jacket. I'll spend decent money for decent quality stuff, but I don't want cheap Chinese T-shirts. No offense to the Chinese, but they fall apart in 6 months. You can't even wash them 4 times.
Mm. So yeah, quality, 100% cotton T-shirts would be a good idea.
Hemp or bamboo would be much preferred.
Well, there you go. That's entirely possible. And what if it was hemp grown and made in Canada? That would be even better.
Exactly. If we could get native hemp from Winnipeg or from Manitoba
Oh, what a
and
good idea.
spun and done in Canada, and set it up right, and a quality shirt, a nice shirt, like a dress shirt, something that we could, when we're doing public appearances and public shows and events around. You go to the fair and you have a little booth where
Yeah,
we could have nice clothes that we could show off the brand.
yeah. And what if we had spaceship team special T-shirts? That would
Hmm.
be cool. Um, that's an excellent idea. I hadn't taken it all the way that way with the hemp. Um, I did also think about hemp in terms of the pain patches or health patches, and using a nice hemp material similar to canvas or sort of a burlap, but more refined than burlap, um, so that it would soak in the GANS water and then use the vacuum sealer machine to vacuum out all the air bubbles and excess fluid and so on. So it's completely, completely almost paper thin as far as the patch goes and so on.
Yeah, one of the really nice things about hemp or bamboo cloth is that it's incredibly comfortable and it's durable like denim used to be. When, Rick, when you and I were little kids, we used to buy a pair of jeans and they would last for 20 years.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a denim or a hemp shirt here that I bought about 14 years ago, and it looks just like the day I bought it.
Right. So, what other products could be something that could be offered? I mean, you mentioned a dress shirt, for example, and of course T-shirts, various styles that could be offered, and again, they could be different qualities. I mean, some people might still want to go for 100% cotton. That perhaps that could be offered as well. But if we had a good lead on the hemp, then that could be a very good selling feature, and especially I love the connection with the native element there. That's exactly what we need to do, is to help empower them and connect them into the Keshe technology, essentially. So, well, we have Selma, your video's on there. I don't think you mean to. I'm going to mute the video.
Itu meeting hari itu, hari ini.
Let me see. Selma, do you know your audio is open too? I don't think you do. I'm going to mute you. Thank you. Okay, where were we? Blueprints on the t-shirts. Thank you, Alper. That's a good one. Yes, indeed. Blueprint teachings, right on the blueprint teachings embedded into t-shirts. Ooh, I like that. So, so if you need to, if you in an emergency situation, you need to determine what your circuits are and your configurations, you just check out your t-shirt. That's great. You're advertising the blueprint teaching all the time you're wearing it.
I think if you have to refer to your shirt for your wiring diagram, you're not doing your homework.
Yeah, that's true. But
You'd have to print it in reverse so you can see it in the mirror.
well, that's true. That's true. However, it would be interesting to print it on the t-shirts and actually have the circuitry or images printed on the t-shirts. And there is a saying that the image of the thing is the thing itself, or the model of the thing is the thing itself. So if you can print it on a t-shirt, and it's actually more or less three-dimensional if you print all around the t-shirt. Maybe you could print 3 reactors around on the t-shirt, and you are the fourth reactor in the middle.
Well, they do have conductive ink.
That's right. And actually, why not? I thought of this with the hemp pads, these pain pads or health pads, whichever you like to call them. What if they were printed with nano copper ink, black nano copper ink that would be printed on that would be the black part of the printing. You could have a logo, you could have the instructions, or you could have an image that represented something that you wanted to enforce somehow, or it could be a image of some kind of special antenna sort of circuit or winding of coils, basically, but printed instead of putting coils into the packs.
Now, that's probably totally doable with the tech we have these days.
Yep, absolutely. They do have different inks that they print. They've got the copper ink that you were mentioning, for example, that they use for printable circuits, not printed circuits, but, well, they are printed, but the printable circuits that you can print on paper. They're flexible and they still maintain their conductivity, and you can print with this copper ink, essentially. But what about having nano copper ink? So it's not just a regular circuit, but it's a plasmatic circuit. Seems good to me, other than I don't know if there's any health issues that might rear their ugly heads or something. How would it be to have copper nano in with the GANS water pad, like printed on that, let's say, hemp paper or hemp material pad?
Well, if we could come up with a way to stabilize the dry GANs, we could print it in GANs.
Print it in GANs, like, and have it stay in that one spot.
Well, you could print specific patterns that way, and you could, instead of using the copper wire with the nano coating to create your plasma interactions, you could print it in GANs and have a direct plasma interaction with no nanomaterials involved.
A GANS printer. The GANS-O-Matic GANS printer has 4 different kinds of GANs that it selects, like a 4-color printer. And you select your layering of the what do you call it, the gradient you want to print. That could work. Well, that's some interesting ideas there, and something that I think we definitely need to pursue in the Keshe Foundation Canada kind of context, if possible. So that's one idea.
Has anyone seen the dragonfly drones in the UFOlogy world? They apparently that it's alien tech that's been reproduced in theory, but it has a lot of design work on the bottom. Apparently, that's just part of the process of how they work. It's the designs are absolutely amazing, really
What's this?
interesting.
What do you mean, Dragonfly? What's that about?
Well, it's called. It's just have a look when you got a chance on the web. Dragonfly drone, and it'll show you these very strange type craft that have lots of antennas and weird looking stuff on them. But underneath, they have all of this alien design work, and apparently the design is part of what makes it fly. Apparently, it's been well. They say it's been reproduced. People have seen it in workshops and things like that. But it's one of the
Oh,
weirdest looking
you mean it's a drone? You're talking about drones, right?
drones. Yeah,
Right.
dragonfly drone.
Hmm.
Yeah, just thought I'd throw that up.
Yeah, I just did a quick search, and they've got one on geek.com for $119. We've got a dragonflydrones.ca, so there's a Canadian company making these. And there's a called Dragon Fly.
They're the model aircraft. This is another thing altogether. Yeah.
Okay, there's another one that's Dragonfly, GRAGANFLY.com. And it's Dragonfly Innovations Incorporated Innovative UAV Aircraft and Aerial Video Systems.
Okay.
That may be just a propeller-driven drone. I don't think it's quite what we're talking about.
Where is it?
But some of the images that came up on a Google image search, there's some really interesting looking things coming up from that.
Yeah, there's a video called Drone Strange Craft on YouTube. That's an example of it. They're kind of weird looking things.
Yeah.
Well, now
Well.
innovation with the 3D printers, pretty much anything you can imagine you can build. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder about how much we should be using 3D printers, perhaps, with some of our newer designs. Is the battle of 3D printing versus injection molding with plastics and so on is one of the concepts there, depending on mass production.
I don't think the 3D printer is going to take over an injection mold process. The printers are just too bloody slow, and even the faster ones, they're not gonna be able to compete with an injection mold system. You can make an that's what I used to do is build injection molds and blow molds, and you can make an injection mold that'll turn out 8, 10, 12, 16, 36, whatever amount of devices you want in a few seconds. Whereas a 3D printer, I don't know if I showed you guys the Waters turbine that I had made, but it took 24 hours to print one.
Yeah, that can happen for sure. But in that case, you have a warehouse of dozens of these machines that can pump out at the same time, in theory. But it's still awkward. The advantage being that if you're in low production and need to make rapid changes in the design and continue 3D printing, then that seems like perhaps a better way to go.
Oh, that it definitely does have a use, and I really want one. I want a big Delta machine, but I just don't have the $700 right now.
700.
Well, for a decent size, reliable Delta configuration 3D printer, they're in about $700.
That's not too bad. Some of the better ones of that 3D print in metals and so on are interesting, but they get up into more like the $700,000 range or something like that. About 1,000 times more than that. Okay, so what else have we got here? We've got John's window. Time to show something else. Robert, do you have anything interesting to show? What the heck was that? What do we got here? We have, is that Salma's head?
No, nothing yet. Just trying to learn Photoshop real quick
Mm-hmm.
for a project.
Oh, for one of your work projects.
The logo project.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Any new ideas on that need to discuss, or is that still top secret and so on?
No, not really new ideas, but I want to get that stars, galaxies appear inside the skull and stuff. That concept still haven't been able to create that in the software that I've been using. So I'm trying to see if I can do it in Photoshop.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But if you guys have something you want to work on, I can fire up SolidWorks.
Okay, good to know. What's that, Salma? I think you're gonna mute you there. I don't think you want to come on. I have to check my settings. Mute on entry. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what else can we bring up here as a topic of interest? You see, we were discussing earlier what we might encounter in the Thursday Knowledge Seekers workshop that's coming up. Okay, Selma, you have your hand up. Do you want to say something, perhaps? Selma? Let me see if I can. Here, I'll unmute you. Hello, Selma. Do you want to say something? Not coming through.
Yeah.
Oh, there. Go ahead.
I
Hello? Yes, hi.
send you a photo
You can send me a photo?
on Facebook.
Facebook. Okay.
Yeah, and Sikander asks if the idea that we can use our intent to feed ourselves, can we use our intent to ask plasma to create things for us? And I think that's totally doable. It's just down the road a little ways. We've got a few piles of baggage, personal baggage we have to get rid of before we're going to be at that level, I think.
Well, people are using the plasma to create such things as food or the impression of the feeding from food, for example. So I guess.
Yeah, he's talking about directly intent. You know, hold out your hand and intend to have a hamburger.
Yeah, you put nothing. Very okay.
Selma, do you want to speak, or is your microphone open again?
No, but you talking about something else. I'm talking about star formation. I need all the advice and all that. I'm in island in Indonesia. Did you get my photo?
Just trying to find it. I don't see it on in Facebook. Is that what you said? Oh, I see. You put it
your
directly. I see. You put it directly on my thing here. Okay.
you can share that if you want to.
Okay. So let's share the picture. Let me just. I'll actually open it up like here. Okay, there we go. And I'll put it there. I'll zero in on it. Have a look at it. And okay, so there's the picture. Let me do the screen share so we can all see it. Okay, so tell us about this. I see that you. Let me see what you
Yeah,
wrote.
it's all done in acrylic. Uh, I'm gonna do a star formation with this.
Okay.
Okay. The caption says that I'm in Indonesia island, and one of my friend, his wife is having cervix cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and the husband having pneumonia, TB,
Mm-hmm.
lung. Yeah, so I'm trying to help them. I'm trying to do a star formation, so everything is done with acrylic. Yeah, and the lights are all that is just something fancy that I did. It's a LED light.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So
So I
this
need all
is.
the advice and all that. Say star formation. Like Leaf told me to do it. What he did was a 90 inches pyramid. Any advice?
A 90-inch pyramid? Is that what you said?
Yeah. All all the triangle are 90 inches. You know. The top, the bottom, and the base are all 90 inches. Anybody got any idea or anything to add?
Um, you got. Is this a triple stacker unit?
It's a triple stacker. It looks like a four stacker, but the one in below it will be will be the capacitor.
Not sure. Any advice that it's hard to give medical advice about such a serious situation in a way.
Yeah,
But
but I saw once that Liv had this as a healing room and
mm-hmm,
a meditation room.
mm-hmm.
So I thought I build one, for them.
Yeah. Well, I think anything that can help them focus their attention so that they get into um, a state of unconditional love, essentially, is what the ultimate state to get into, where you can allow that kind of energy to do the natural healing that comes
Yeah.
from the higher realms, from directly from the soul level, and so on.
Yeah, thank you. So what I'm doing the whole lot. I'm doing health pen, I'm doing
Mhm.
paint patch, doing energy water. I'm
Mhm.
doing even your ping pong ball reactor.
Mhm.
I send you a photo of it. The ping pong ball. It been offline for so long. So I thought I build one.
Mhm. Great. Yeah. Well,
Whatever I can to help
whatever
my friend.
whatever you can. Yes, exactly. I'm sure you're trying to just reach as deeply as you can and try anything you can because you want to help people that are in pain and
Yeah,
suffering and so on.
it's not even. It's just at the moment it's for my friend, but I told them to invite anybody that want to use the therapy room or the
Mm-hmm.
star formation room.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
It
an
be
excellent
fully
idea.
set up tomorrow.
So this would be, it's a like a spare room that someone has in their house. Is that basically
Yeah,
it?
my house. It
Okay,
is in
yeah,
my house,
I see.
and they come. The husband is here helping and all that. You know,
Yeah.
it'll be okay tomorrow. I think the ganses and all that is all prepared.
Okay. Um, uh, Sikander
Anybody,
mentions,
any,
Sikander's,
anybody,
Sikander
anybody done?
mentions,
Anybody done the star formation before? Maybe just any advice. Any advice would be appreciated.
well,
Well, the,
Sikander mentions start doing distill water juices. If you can do urine therapy, that can help a lot.
yeah.
That's not exactly.
Yeah, okay. I'm using all the ganses with seawater, distilled water. I'm doing titanium oxide for ganses and the normal CO2, CuO, and CH3.
Yeah, the only
I'm trying for gradient.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of offhand that could make a big difference is you want to keep your reactors away from the walls, and all four of your reactors you want them to be as balanced as you can possibly get them. So they need to be as much the same as you can make them. These two look like they're significantly different, and it looks like your spacing is a little bit large too.
No, no, it's not set up yet. I just want to show what I got, you know.
Oh,
Then the
okay.
spacing will be 90 inches between each other, and
No,
it
no, no,
be off
no,
the ground. It be
no, no.
off the ground, off
I
the
mean,
ground 30
I mean, I
30
mean,
30 cm.
I mean the spacing of your coils. When I'm looking at these boxes, the layers, they look like they're awful long ways apart.
Yeah, but that is the maximum that I got. I mean the minimum that I got. So that's the spacing that I'm using at the moment.
Okay.
But it doesn't touch. It doesn't touch. It's what you call that? Uh, the gravity is on the acrylic.
Mm-hmm. Have you nano coated the inside of those boxes?
Yeah, I'll be doing that. I know.
Okay.
I'll be cold caustic it all of it.
Okay. Yeah, the only suggestion I could make would be to have each one of the boxes to be as close to identical as you possibly can make them, so your system is very, very balanced.
Yeah. So now the one on the right is the one that's going on top, and on the left is the tree base.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what sort of results you get.
Yeah, at the moment I'm doing okay with the ping pong. The wife can walk easily now.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, because in the morning she having a hard time walking.
Oh,
But
that's
I be doing it for the whole of the island. Anybody that want to come, anybody that here and come, they are most welcome.
well, with a system the size you're looking to build, your plasma is going to extend a long ways.
Yeah, it's my wishful thinking too, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to light up. The galactics will see it from space.
Yeah, I mean the first is to share and give first, you know.
It's the way to do it.
Yeah, but any help that I can get, you know, like just now the distilled water and what you call it, the nano coating of the acrylic, you know, I'll be doing all that. No worries. I know that the stacker got to be 30 inches off the ground, 30 centimeter off the ground. I'll be doing that too.
what about amino acids? Is that part of the picture here?
Amino acid is no problem, Rick. Once you do CO2 and all that, amino acid is always there. It doesn't run off. And if you want to wash it off, it's very difficult to wash it off.
Mm-hmm.
It's already the
So
CO2,
it's built into the system, is what you're saying. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When
Okay.
you cannot wash amino acid off, when you do CO2, when you do copper oxide, it's already there.
Well, it seems like you're covering the bases here. So, when you get your system orientated the way you expect, you should send us another picture so we can see how it's set up.
Yeah, I think I'll be doing it tomorrow,
Okay.
so that yeah, everything is all set. But any additional like amino acid, you know, I I I I like if you suggest anything also. I just want to recall what I might forget. And I found out even on this island from my friend wife, there's a lot of people suffering from cancer.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's certainly common all over the world now. It's becoming.
Yeah.
They expect, the government actually expects the developed countries such as Canada that the rate of cancer will go to 100% within
Wow.
about by the time it's 2050.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
they were actually predicting 100% cancer rate. So that's kind of crazy. I think it's maybe.
rather at this moment tomorrow I'll be completing my star formation, and after that I'll be doing the where they did the headgear like Renan and Jackie, was it? I'll be trying to do the headgear.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that I don't have any experience in that. I got to learn from scratch.
Do you have any coils and so on put into a head gear device?
Yeah, that's what I need. I need all the schematic and all the connection, and whatever they're using right now. I need everything, but I
Have
can't
you
find it.
seen? Well, here's what you do. You go to the Blueprint site. Let me get it up here on the.
Normal blueprint site or the study group.
Well, let's say I'll put it up on the share here so we
Okay.
can see.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
Okay, so hello, just
Yeah, just want to mention it to him that try and use the Rick Simpson oil, which is marijuana oil.
yeah,
And
that's not our technology, but we're
No, I
looking at.
know, but since he's looking for something else along with this plasma thing, so if he wants,
yeah, what they have here, and they advise me marijuana is of course a lot, because it's the 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 island itself. There's a lot of trees and jungle and some like that, and they recommending me Arabian leaf.
hmm. If you
I learned a lot from them.
if you can email me your email address, I can send you a link or a book which can explain it to you exactly how to make it and everything.
Most welcome. I'm down at Salama Matahari.
Um,
You can maybe. Uh, it's not recommended, but you can find a way to exchange emails or something. Perhaps I'm not sure how to do that without. You can use the chat
Oh,
and talk to someone privately, for example.
yeah, correct.
what
But
Okay.
I cannot get connection to Ali though. I tried, but he's not on a regular Facebook, I think.
Ali. Okay, well that's different. We're talking about Sikander Jasani, who is
Yes.
just
Yeah, Skander will do, and Ali Sharif Day or something like that. I tried to connect him.
What's your name?
Salama, Salamah
Or you can
Matari.
yeah. So why
you
don't
can do like
you?
a private on this chat or
Yeah, why don't you do it privately on the chat if you want to pass pass
I
emails and so
welcome
on.
anything.
Okay.
Right, Rick, this is the one that you want me to go to. Blueprint construction.
Yeah, that's where we're at here. As I'm trying to get back to this. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's the if you go to the pardon me.
I can see the head here, but the schematic and the connection is not
Yeah,
there. You know, it's a bit of jumble. Huh?
yeah. Oh, what you do is you go to the Power Blueprint. Okay, this page here,
Okay.
and here's the download zip file, the consolidated blueprint. It's called. It's under 5kfpid.zip. And you click on that, and that downloads the zip file that's got. Let me see if I can bring it up here. I had it recently. Where did it go? Okay, just a second here. I know I have it somewhere close
Thank
by.
you, Rick. This is all new to me. I gonna dive into all this blueprint.
Yeah, it's a new one, so
Yeah, keep in mind, as the folks in Austria work on this and a few other places, there probably will be some changes over the next little while. But the information in the blueprints is the core information that you need to make a functional system.
yeah.
All right, thank you, Rick. This
We
is what I really need, huh? Or
yes.
maybe
If you go into
Indonesian need, huh?
if you go
All this will help them a
into,
lot.
for
The
example,
government does help. The government does help where they have what is a scheme where you don't pay all, you pay bit by bit and all that. You know, the government does help.
okay, there's the health helmet, for example.
But
That's
nevertheless, the income is rather low, huh? Less than say about 100 US
mhm.
per month.
You see the health helmet schematic there.
Yeah, so I'm trying my best here
That
with
one, that one is in the PDF under Health Blueprint.
oh yeah. I saw this, I think. I
Okay,
saw this. It's quite good. Yeah. I'll be
and
doing everything, Rick, for all these people here.
mhm.
Starting off my friend, but it's gonna be whoever invite me, I will go.
Right on. Great. Good for you.
So whatever assistance that you giving me now will have about 200 million people eventually. That's the population here.
Mhm. Mhm.
So with 100 US is another Africa, is another India, it's another maybe the third world countries.
Mhm.
You helping me a lot, Rick. I would like to thank you.
Well, thank you for saying that. Appreciate it. Okay.
I'll get back on and off when I'm not busy, and I'll keep posting photos.
Okay. Thank you very
Love you.
much.
Okay, thank you. Sikandar, is it Sikandar? Thank you, Sikandar.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, Rick, I let you go off now. I won't disturb you now. I go back to my work.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Alrighty. What else have we got up here? I've got a picture of that health
Yeah,
helmet
that's
as well.
Renan, right?
It's pretty, yeah, pretty exotic looking thing. That's
Yeah, I'll be building this with acrylic and copper tube, just like Jackie. Was it Jackie? I'm not so sure.
mm-hmm.
Copper tube and acrylic, it's easier to get somebody in between these coils and all that. It's just my wishful thinking. So I start from here and I see where I go from where it takes me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
Okay.
one step at a time is the way.
Yeah. Thank you, Rick. Thank you
Okay,
so
thank
much.
you, Selma. All
Bye
right.
then.
All right, who else has something they'd like to show or discuss at this point in time?
There was a question that came up last night on the teaching on the international workshop that didn't get brought up, and that is the size of the coils for the spaceship reactor for the rings, the two large rings, the magnetical and gravitational rings. And I was under the impression that you would make them however big you need to, but try to maintain a ratio of nines within that. Same as we do with the reactors. Says, would anybody out there have any ideas about how many turns would be on those coils? Apparently not.
Yeah,
So,
it just appears that it would be variable depending on your other coil sizes and things like that. Each system would most likely be different from system to system.
Yeah, and it would depend on the spacing between your coils, how tight they are, size of wire. Yeah, I can. There, it would definitely there would be a lot of variables in there.
Yeah.
With a tight coil, you would take your circumference and divide it by the diameter of your wire, and that would give you the number of turns that you're looking for.
Yeah, you can calculate it out, like that once you got it. Yeah. Once you figured it out. Yeah.
But I think just intuitively from all of the other things that I've seen, if you maintain a ratio of nines, you should have a relatively well functioning system, even if you're out a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds like a good way to go for sure. And I mean, sort of going on with getting away from mains power and getting onto the plasma batteries seems like a way to go.
Once we have devices that actually function on plasma itself and not need the conversion to electricity, then we're laughing. When but if it's an inductive device like what were they saying, brushless motors, basic electronics like computers or stereo or that sort of thing, that's supposed to interface with the plasma right directly without any problems. I don't have a system built. I just wound up and hooked up another set of coils yesterday, so I'm getting ready to nano coat those and actually put together my first MagGrav system. So I'll actually be able to test this stuff. But it's been a year since I've had actual time to be able to do this.
good for you, John. Good to hear you're getting back into experimenting a bit there.
Well, I kind of have to. I've got all these tech support questions coming in, and I don't have a device to play with and see if I can reproduce some of their problems.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes solving the issues real difficult because it's all thought process at that point. I don't
Yes,
have
that's
anything
right.
tangible.
And you know, as Tesla said, you can do it that way. Like he used visualization in his thought processes to create new devices, and he would actually run them in his mind for sometimes even months at a time until parts started to wear out, and he would determine what parts ran out while he was running them in his mind, and he would know when he went to build that device exactly how it was going to operate and how it was going to function and so on. And he said every time he went to build the thing that he had already constructed in his mind, it worked.
Yeah, and if you read the history of the Wright brothers, they basically did the same thing. They built it on paper first and made sure it was right on paper before they actually constructed it. So it's pretty much the same sort of thing. When I do something, when I build a device in my head and run it in my head, it doesn't break. It just runs because it's perfect. So they don't tend to wear out.
Yeah, I guess you have to add the resistance factors and so on into it, into your algorithm.
That's a pretty hard act to follow. I mean, you know, Beethoven apparently, when he was playing music, would see colors. You know, it's like that's amazing.
May I ask a question?
Absolutely. Who is this, sir?
Thank you. This is Alper from California.
Okay, thank you.
So, someone who has no, let's say, very high consciousness or a vision or intuitiveness or anything related to no inspirations coming, just going to work and coming back, and that person saw the blueprint and made the unit, has no idea what it is, but it is there, it is working. So I was wondering, for that person, the unit is the unit pusher, sort of fire starter, sort of the does that starts the process of that person's understanding. um yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, they'll be stimulated by it, but what way, how would it sort of open the window in their mind's eye so that they would start asking the right questions, and that's just what I was wondering. And oh yes, absolutely. Could be
Yeah.
simple as that. Yeah,
You know, I
yeah,
look at
sure.
I look at a question like that, and I inherently see in everyone that ability of the intuition and the imagination. It's all there. It's and every single person has it. Look at children. There isn't one young child out there who doesn't have an imaginary friend, who doesn't see a city in a pile of blocks.
Well, that's so true.
That imagination, that intuition, that playfulness is trained out of them. So when you get into these fields, it's going to lift that wall that's been built around your imagination. And I think it's going to be different for everybody. There's not going to be any two people that are going to go through the same process when they have that opening, that awakening.
What I've seen is that it's just going to happen automatically at the right place at the right time. You'll just be struck by certain inspiration, which is if you follow that inspiration, it'll bring you to another place. It'll bring you to another place. It'll bring you to another place. You'll start connecting the dots, and very soon, you'll get into that frame of being. You know, it's not just mind, but it's also a frame of being.
Yeah, and if you don't follow that inspiration, it'll keep beating you about the ears until you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a journey. You know, it's something you can't sort of knock over in a day, and there's so many parts of the process, and you might come into it to build a power supply, but for me, you know, and I was looking at it from a very technical point of view, and then I just kind of realized that there are other issues here. There are deeper things. There are all kinds of other aspects that are brought out in me, you know, to make that connection about.
But sure, I understand it all. What I would like to say is we give names to the feelings, to the experiences that we experience at the moment, and that could be quite simple, or that could be that name might have a multiple meanings to you that makes everything is so detailed. All that is, how can we put it into a sort of, that's just what I'm not concerned, just thinking, into a daily practical actions in terms of really doing it, but not like reading it from the book, like actual step-by-step feeling, doing it. And
yeah, that's going to be different for every single person on the planet. I mean, you walk up to anyone and you ask them to picture a car, no one is going to picture the same cars. The word is going to mean something different, each one. You ask someone, what is love? You're going to get a different response from everyone. So it's going to be an individual journey for every single person out there. And there will be a trigger event. There will be something that'll happen that will start that seed growing. And as it was brought out, it's a journey. It's a growth process, and it will take time. But
okay,
happen.
car example is pretty good, I think. Aren't we talking about just one and oneness, one energy? So car is a car, but the what makes it different is the style of the model of it, but it's still the car. We can call it a cabrio, well, whatever, convertible and sports car, or just a car. And what I'm trying to understand is let's call it a smell. Both smells of the feelings, aren't they the same? Why we're making it so detailed in terms of we think it's so complicated, but perhaps maybe not. I don't know. Sorry, just questioning it because I love you.
Well, it's you touched on a philosophical question that's been around forever, and that is, when I look or when I smell a rose, am I smelling the same thing you are? And chances are I'm not. I'm getting something different from that rose than you would be.
But when I'm trying to explain you to taste of the honey, you don't understand it. but unless you taste it, it's the same taste that I'm having. And
Are you sure?
It may not be, because I
it may
smell
not be.
and taste
Yes,
and
please.
colors. That's something very interesting that I found out. It's I smell, taste, and feel, and sometimes even think in colors. Like, for example,
So true.
if I'm feeling a certain sensation, I might describe it as green, or blue, or purple, or red, or something like that. The other thing I did was, to develop this intuition, because somehow or another I knew that it was there. I started to read people,
Sure.
just by observing them. You know, when I'm on the bus, I would just sit, observe different people, and kind of gauge, you know, in my heart, what this person's energy is like. And it's gotten to the point where if a person walks through the door, I know exactly who they are. And even sometimes, even before they walk through the door, I know who's going to walk through the door. Now, how do I do that? I don't know. I just do. But it's something that has happened over the past 15 years or so.
But that's just what I was just trying to understand, how to put it in a daily routine. Okay, we feel all this, but how can I control it in terms of understanding the phone call is just about to come, not even is just about to come, what that person is going to tell me. And I wanted to put it because we all felt, I really felt that. Of course, we have encountered many other things, um, but how am I going to actually do it? Because I was doing it before, but I want to do it now intentionally. What I've tried many times during the teachings to sit just by the unit and send love to all the community just constantly, like
It's not something that,
praying.
okay,
I
from
don't
my
know.
personal experience, it's not
Yes, sir.
something that can be controlled. It's something that I have to work together with. And it starts with feeling. I have to be able to feel it and work with it. So just allow it to happen rather than being willful about it. Be willing.
Yeah, that's
Well,
something that there isn't a how in it. There's only an allowing it to be.
Sure, I
well,
see.
the feeling is the key word there because if you're truly feeling, then you're not, you don't have the mental chatter and thoughts associated with it. You don't have unnecessary cravings and other stimulations going on. There's just the impression of feeling, of reaching out and actually feeling the feels that are in the immediate environment. It's an immediate thing as opposed to the senses, which are sort of once removed. They're all, our sense of sight is very narrow to start with the bandwidth of our visible spectrum. And there's also a delay of the speed of light and the going through our eyeball and being transmuted into images in our brain and so on, or the hearing where it has to go through a series of vibrations and other parts of the physicality in order to get the signal to the brain, or the sense of smell, which is the most direct to the brain. It still has a lag time. All the senses have a lag time, but the sense of feeling is immediate now in the moment. It forces one to feel now and feel now and feel now. You're
Sure.
tied into the immediate changes going on in front of you, more so than the senses, I think.
Yeah, I think seeking the how in this sort of an aspect is very similar to sitting next to a friend, looking at, on a park bench, looking at a tree and realizing you're looking at two completely different trees. The only way to see the tree that your friend is looking at is to look through his eyes and his experience.
Okay.
So
Is there one question that comes up then in that circumstance? Is there an impartial, objective observation that's possible?
if you knew, if you viewed that tree from every possible perspective, including being the tree, then yes. But that would be the only way. If you could actually,
So if two people are doing that simultaneously, would that be the same viewpoint?
certainly not. It's going to be 3 feet apart. I'm going to see different leaves. I'm going to see different branches.
Sorry for interrupt you. Your conversation is very interesting. My name is Pavel. I'm basically the guy living in the UK. Originally, I'm from Poland. And adding to that, what you've been saying about the tree and perspective of seeing the same tree of two people sitting on the same bench is actually irrelevant. Because if you really ask the question yourself, do you see the tree, or you just looking at confirmation of a tree? And what actually takes a part in terms of persuading that tree by two different people? Either are they going by the eyes or they going by the feelings? And in the terms of feelings, I do understand the emotions.
Yeah, this reinforces the point that I was making in that, in the how of the question here, how do we make this connection? It's going to be different for every single person that does it. There isn't going to be a blueprint that everybody can follow to make it work.
Of course, because everyone from every single tree is different. Every single leaf is different. Every single human being is different.
And every perspective
So,
is going to be different.
of course, it's the same way like Mr. Keshe was describing two magnets. If you're gonna buy two magnets, different two magnets, are they gonna find a balance between themselves in the same way, even if they've been made from the same material?
Mm-hmm.
Of
So
course, they're not.
does that help you, Albert? Does that give you a little more insight?
Well, of course, all priceless. Thank you so much. What I've seen since the first blueprint teaching, that I've tried to teach myself everything over and over again, as if I'm another person teaching myself. And what I do is usually everything backwards. What it is to me is that I need to feel the feeling, and then I need to look it into dictionary what that is, and or try to find whatever the resources that I have. Well, I have seen Mr. Keshe. I've considered him. It's be funny. I've considered him as the first authentic mechanical video player, and he's showed us how it has beautiful images on its screens, and it works so fine. And it's so easy to make it. We all made it, and I have made it. Beautiful, and still watching the teachings and watching beautiful visuals. But I wanted to do it just by myself in my own room when there's no teaching. And I realized that the video player is got something missing, and it has a hole in it. And it needs a cassette, obviously, and the cassette is me, simple as that. And well, I looked at the shape of the space. I couldn't absolutely fit in there, and I had to shape myself to be able to fit in the video player to become the visual and experience everything all just by myself. As you have said, I was very, very patient, but nah, it didn't work that way. Just being patient is being kind of. I'm not going to comment on that. I'm just going to explain what I have done in a practical solution. I have realized that all the traditional scales and measurements doesn't apply on plasma. The
No.
watch, clock,
Of course they're not.
scales, nothing.
Of course they're not, because
I
the
had to,
plant is
absolutely,
very
sorry.
dynamic environment. So how you can measure the speed? How you can measure
I've tried. I'm a
the
sound engineer.
outcome?
I've tried to capture everything. I've done everything. It doesn't have anything. You don't approach it that way. So I've gotten rid of all my measurements. That's so silly. But whether it works or not, it works for me in terms of adjusting and sort of feeling the way of my own conditioning in towards getting my own atmospheric condition the way I really want. Just have enough of it, waiting of it. Yes, sir.
Alfred, that's an excellent excellent example, and it's very, very clear. What I do and what I do when I teach is initially I try to get the student to understand that at the beginning you're not going to comprehend what I'm talking about. All I'm going to be giving you is data. Just absorb the data. Get as many perspectives as you can. Once you have a sufficient number of perspectives, then things will start falling into place and making sense.
Absolutely.
But until that point, it's just data. And so far, I've been having pretty good success with the people that I teach doing it that way.
But making a sense in what perspective? I mean, in your perspective, the sense is described by your opinion. In terms of the other person perspective, the opinion can be very different.
But
certainly,
what we need to comprehend is the idea. There's only one idea. What we're looking at is a mirror to ourselves and seeing all the differences and the details, and just like telling ourselves this exists. What exists is actually is just one idea is there, and while my experience, nothing is. This is not teaching or anything. It's just there to grasp, and the simple way to approach that way, I've realized that I'm a physical being right now. I'm 3D. Like, yeah, I hear myself, and so I need to do something in my room that gives me the feeling of like I'm on Earth first. I'm in my room, and I'm in the best way that I can describe in my room, and it's just so beautiful. I'm close to Earth. That's where we're at the moment, and that helped me to take the courage to be able to approach my unit the way I like, and in terms of not spirituality, nothing like that, nothing that we can't understand or explain it, just real. And I felt like I can go and understand whatever it is going on there is affecting me because what I've done. And that was just so giving to the unit as it was described previously. I've given so much by changing its environment, and it's just like this relationship so on the edge. That's why I've giving and taking. It's like a thin as a hair, where the other side is actually the unit might not give me. It didn't give me many days, and then it started doing it. But what I'm telling you is in terms of feeling in like 3D. I thought I have progressed steps like where I am right now. I'm not thinking. I'm here in front of it, and well, it really feels good. I'm sorry, I took away
What do you feel?
more, I think.
What do you feel, Alper? What you say it feels good. What does that mean?
I like to cooperate it.
Where do you feel that in your body, for example? Feel it in your solar plexus or in your mind or in your arms or legs or something? Or can you identify where that...
Sure. What I do is I use hematite stone and holding it with my left hand on the unit. It has given me a physical feeling of the vibration accumulating into my palm and just walking towards my arm, and it is like electricity that just I felt like as if I'm touching the piece of wood or I don't know anything. It's a physical feeling that I have felt. It's about 2 weeks ago, and wow, this is incredibly interesting to me because I felt like I'm cured. I had a terrible stomach problem, and I'm in a pretty bad shape in terms of my stomach, and I can explain in detail, but no, it's all fixed. This is what I was expecting for a very long time. My unit is 3 months old, and taking care of it so well and adding it gradually. And I have added many things in heaters and fridge, and it heats up, but not that hot that you can't touch it. Yeah, what do you think? Sorry.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you so much.
It seems these units do affect people strongly emotionally many times. It's quite interesting to see the consistency of responses in that realm, it seems.
Incredibly true, but then that's so interesting that all the things that when we say, oh yeah, it works, it is true. Beyond that, what we knew already was like confirmed by the unit. It's being confirmed. Every single things that you think was a doubt is actually in a way that you can even see it in your before your eyes. It's it comes to a point where the words are not enough.
Right on.
Yeah, that's quite interesting because basically, may I ask you a question, please?
Yes, sir. Please.
I'm not sir. I'm Pavel. So we're not gonna go above that. I'm just a simple person.
Sure. Yes.
What kind of confirmation do you need from your physical mind to understand that the creation of your physicality become from emotion?
Well, I'm a 3D person right now. I'm dealing with my 3Dness at the moment. I am aware of my spirituality and beyond. Perhaps what I've experienced couldn't be put on a scale, but what I realize, I need to deal with my 3D-ness, and I need to understand of my physicality, and it put in a control and also into a definite balance, health.
Yeah, but the question
Yes,
is how?
Yeah,
How you want to achieve that? You would like to achieve that by your physically.
Oh, simple. So simple. I work backwards. I don't read books. I've not at all. I can clearly say in a positive way, I abuse myself. To be able to understand the ideas of the ideas, I'm not interrogating where it comes from, but how it is interacting with me, what I feel, when I feel, why, what is going on? Being in now and conscious, it's in the all opposite, all the secrets in the opposite. The more you want to be in this world, that you are more going to be more spiritual in the other side. Why? Because we're down its core, we know what is going on. Yeah, when you look around, when you're in the nature, you look around, you don't think about how the leaves grow, or you know what is going on there. At the moment, that knowingness, that consciousness is being there and now. And what is happening, immediately you become a perfect observer of yourself and everywhere else. Under these terms, you're holding yourself in your hand and looking around, and you confirm everything that your 3D is needed first. You need to feed that. We need to feed our so lack of that, really. I mean, we're humans, but we haven't had enough. We've been suffering. We need to be human first. Lovely humans, we're being of angels. We just need to have that feeling, and then simply it moves on. That's how it moves on. I realized, to be able to step-by-step approach to a unit, you need to move on, you need to let go and do everything else. In practicality, that's how I found it easy. But first step is to change your atmospheric condition. Everyone's atmospheric condition is different. That's how we understand love. This is love, different, that is different. We put different names. But yes, that bring it down to a plasmatic. I don't know how we determine that in between everyone, but yeah, what do you think? I mean, this is nothing spiritual, it's just ideas. What I do actually, before I read, to confirm myself what I feel. Sorry, is it mute? No, it's not.
No, we heard you. We heard you.
I thought I was talking. I'm sorry.
No, it's something very deep that, you know, it evokes a lot of pondering from within. And
Absolutely.
truth be told, there's no one simple way to answer that question. It's a case of everyone has to go through their own experiences. I mean, one of the things that I kept telling people last time in a forum that I was involved in is, move away from head space and start from heart space first, because heart space is the prime mover of head space, whereas everyone in the world is doing it the other way around. You know, external stimuli affect the state of being, whereas it's the state of being that should be affecting the external. So you from the soul to the heart, heart to the mind, mind to the body, body to the external environment.
That's so true.
So it's taking what we are doing right now, and like what you said, do it backwards, because we are already doing it backwards. So we need to do it backwards again, and that's where we start from source.
It's like reversing a pump, you might say.
Exactly.
Exactly. Thank you.
Guys, may I ask you all of you a question? What will happen in a case when you blind and mute? In our perspective, the people like that, they shouldn't be able to exist in our world.
Remember the song? the pinball wizard. He's a
No, no,
deaf,
no,
dumb,
I'm not
and
going that.
he's deaf, dumb, and blind, but he still plays a mean pinball. He plays by intuition. He waits for the ball to fall.
Yeah, but how we are able to communicate with those people? Why we understand those people? Why we know what they actually feel? Why we know they are sad and why we know they're happy? They can't express themselves.
Yeah, but well, in today's terms, when you sit in front of that person, just hold their hand and just don't talk really. That is in their favor in terms of their senses are multiplied by the lack of other senses. In they'll be not just feeling your hand, they'll be feeling vibrations, they'll be feeling the heat, they'll be feeling um, anything, well, all the conditions that you have. It's just them to understand slowly. I think, I don't know. That's for sure, because I do it. I'm a musician. I close my eyes. I play hours and hours guitar. This is so. I mean, I do it all the time. I'm a painter. I rely on my eyes. I have to. Okay, I see what I see. I have to put it there. How I put it there. Why I put it there. I questioned. I'm not questioning it anymore. All those things are happening. So we're feeling every single thing actually, but the names that we name, tag it, let's not tag it anything. I wanna like cancel words, delete words from the dictionary, honestly. I don't want to have that. I don't want to hear any of that, like, because that just doesn't mean anything really. I mean, because we're already acting on those intentions and feelings. That's how we're communicating, and talking is just too much at that point. We're feeling that every day. We're doing it with friends and families and dogs and cats and birds. We're doing it. Let's just not name it. Do it back as, yes, we all think the same way. It maybe should be done the backwards. Let's smell the feeling. Let's just feel the feeling. Let's sample it. Sampling is the word should be. Sampling is a really, really nice word. What we do is we get an object and we think it gives me that feeling, that smell, that everything. And then we reduce it from our environment. And then when we picture it in our mind's eye, we feel the same thing. We do it. We do it every day. I mean, it's not just, I'm not dreaming or talking spiritual, or just doing it. And we see it, we feel it. I think if we think what we felt and sampling it in the heart, that is really helpful. It helps me in terms of, if I'm on my own I think about something, yeah, whether plasma exists near me or not, because we said already many teachings ago, we said we are plasma, and then, yes, yeah, of course, it's a proof of it, isn't it? All the things that we're actually doing it, and the confirmations and every 3D-ness of getting needs to be satisfied. So just tell ourselves, doing it backward without tagging or anything, we can do this really. And nothing big. I'm not talking about levitating or telepathy, or it's just me and in the room the way I wanted, and the Maghreb is right in the middle as a statue. I love it, and I'm near it now, and I can, of course, I can touch it and do everything with it. These are all the 3D kind of duality. These are confirmations. I've I'm so sorry. No, I don't need to be sorry, but thank you for listening me.
Right.
Thank you so much
so
for
much.
sharing.
Sorry, guys. I'll put my insight once again because I think we just my question has been misunderstood. I didn't ask that question from a point of view the person which one is able to see, hear, and touch. I was raising that question from a perspective of the person which one is blind, mute, and deaf, and why this person is able to recognize our sense of being. In other case, why this person is able, without seeing us, hearing us, and touching us, is able to recognize our emotion state.
Right. Well, that's because the essential self or presence is not dependent on the physical senses as such, and so we can sense the presence of someone without,
Yes,
you can
I'm
feel
absolutely
someone
agree.
coming into a room, for example, and their presence fills the room. You can sense their essential vibration almost.
Is that person request a proof of our existence? And that's
Nope.
another question. Is that person request a proof that we walk into the room what this person is?
There is no intention of waiting for a proof. Once you're in the room, you are there. And
Yes. So what I'm heading to. So why we, as a people which one are able to see, hear, and touch, we request the proofs.
oh, well, absolutely. That's why I told you you the 3D being. We're here right now. We're talking through technology. We're not telepathy. We're not doing. We're just talking to us with each other, and we need this to be satisfied in a scale depending on the person's relations and intentions and the connections that determines the strength of the relation. If that person doesn't care about you, they wouldn't feel the thing about you in that room. What are we talking about? It wouldn't feel. No, you would have. You've experienced this. It's like, oh, we're here. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Yes, it's the strength of the connection between the objects. That's the key. How much do you care about, or how much would you like that person to be in your awareness? How much you allowed? It's got nothing to do with the other person, to my understanding.
Was that an
Would that
answer
help?
to the question, or is that not the question still? Paul, what do you think about that?
Well, let's say I'm heading a bit in a different direction because.
All right, give us more clues as to where you'd like to point toward there. I think we need more
Yes,
clues.
of course. Yeah, of course. And in my understanding, that what Mr. Keshe present to us through the Keshe Foundation, and the other people which one are a bit more aware than, let's say, I am. The whole key is that we don't need the physical proof, and we all the time during the teachings, the public teachings, we all the time trying to prove something to ourselves, but we not should go in this direction. We should go more with an understanding okay, we don't need the proof. We need the trust, but the trust is in ourselves, and that's the key. And the trust is actually coming from the balanced emotion. You know, in ancient Greece, there was one word which one was describing the emotions, and that was emovere. And this word was describing emotions as a something what is actually disrupt us. But in some way, we as a human beings, we fall into the one big mistake when we start taking the emotions under the consideration as a disruption of our focus on something. But it works absolutely other way around. We actually are able to understand the things and recognize the things only because of the emotions and the balance between the emotions. So in this case, guys, what actually the sense of the seeing, hearing, and touchings bring to our physical minds? That's more my question. Is bring only a disruption? Because basically we are getting focused on the things which one are irrelevant. We're not looking into deep ourselves, and we don't try to understand ourselves as a one big package of different emotions, which one actually beautifully apply to the magnetical and gravitational strength. And I think, in my opinion, that we lost that sense of recognizable strength. Then we just start relying only on a physical attachments, which is the eyesight and hearing, and we lost totally sensibility to recognize what is actually going on in the background, and that's the most important. Because even if you're gonna consider it a simple thing, which is a movement of your hand, a movement of your leg, this is just effects of the emotions.
Which is true because from what I've experienced through my life, I've come to understand that a person who has yet to open their heart is the person who is truly deaf, blind, and mute. So
Yes,
that
that's
actually
absolutely
ties in,
correct.
yeah,
And you know,
that ties in with
even
what you
if
said.
yeah, and sorry for interrupt you, but even if you would like to communicate with this person, you don't need the words. This person doesn't have to see you. This person just simply emotionally feel your presence and can describe you in a every single detail. But somehow we get attached to the physical persuasion of the matter, and we think we are so smart that we can describe that the tree is a tree and the tree is brown and the leaves are green and yellow. But on the end of the day, it's absolutely irrelevant. So another conclusion coming out from that is what we can take from the emotions, how we can steer the emotions to bring ourselves to the certain level of understanding.
If I could remind everyone of what Mr. Cash said regarding the feeding system that Jackie built, he said that when we start, becoming one with that feeding system, we start um, energizing ourselves from that. We stop eating. Very soon, the mouth disappears, the anus, the passageway disappears, and in time to come, your ears will disappear, your eyes will disappear, and that ties in beautifully with what you are saying right now. I think that's basically the point that Mr. Cash is trying to bring us in. That is to get away from the irrelevant physical, like what you said, and go back in touch with the prime method of communication, which is energetic, which is plasmatic.
Of course, I fully agree with this, because if we're gonna take under consideration the hunger, and the hunger in my opinion, it's just my subjective opinion, is nothing else like the emotion which one we attach to the physical item, which is our stomach. So if we're gonna be able to disattach the emotion from the physicality, then we actually can steer the physically have to follow the emotions. It doesn't have any other choice, because that's the lower, slower frequency. Well, frequency is not a very good word, but it's a slower magnetical gravitational fields which one is attached to the physicality, but emotion is much higher. So if we're gonna learn not to how to, you know, put the things into our belly, but if we're gonna learn how to steer the emotion of the hunger, we can swap that emotion on even a pure love, and we can send that emotion to any other being on this planet, even to the vertical people, and we can feed them with something for us physically represent a death, because the hunger on the end of the day is, in our present understanding, the hunger is equal to death. But the death and the hunger is pretty much the same. It's the same energy. It's just the point of recognition of ourselves. If you're following me, guys. So in a certain point, I think when we're gonna reach a point when we can actually understand that a single drop of water can feed the whole nations, not in a matter state, but in an emotional state. And I think we should all focus not on the physical improvements or improvements of the technology. We should more go for the emotions and start understand the emotions.
But
And
we are doing it. We're conditioning ourselves in terms of understanding and questioning the feelings, the interacting with its field, rather than winding which way, or
yes,
it
yes,
is being
that's
done
absolutely correct. Yes,
step by step, small steps. Everyone's taking some steps. Well, I think what you're saying amazing. Thank you so much. Oh,
well, the
it's
thing is, what I'm trying
so
to
true, sir.
point by my conclusion is that we're not supposed to go too much on the winding, on the coils, on the nano coating, because our bodies are
Absolutely,
perfectly nano coated.
so
And
true.
if we're gonna learn to increase our sensitivity of emotions in a way when we can segregate them and we can split them in a way, even the sadness, the feeling of a sadness is actually a compact feeling of different magnetical and gravitational strengthnesses. And then when we gonna find that low point of balance, when we can send that to something, look, someone, that depends, and we can retract the send emotion, same emotion, but in a different way, we can replace our hunger, emotion of our hunger, into the emotion of a pure love.
You mean
It's
doing it
still the same
consciously?
emotion.
You mean doing it purposely and consciously for that moment?
Of course. Even if you see the person, which one you passing by on the pavement, let's say, walking for your
Okay,
shoppings, you
okay,
can send the emotion out and bounce that emotion
amazing.
from that person and receive that emotion from a
Yeah.
different level. It depends what you actually want to attract from it.
No, but we're all doing this. But you're describing it right now. We're all doing it.
Well, I'm not
Well,
saying I'm not.
you
Yeah,
walk
yeah.
on the crowded street. You focus on your intention to a person. That person turns and looks at you right that moment. Would that be the same similar thing that you're describing?
Yes, but in a way, I'm very far from using the word of intention, because basically, if there is,
Absolutely.
let's
Sorry.
say, a certain amount of people in this chat room listening the word of intention.
Excuse
And
my dictionary. It's just
no. You say that's not the problem. That's not the problem. But in common, the word intention is very common in use. Let's say, but
sure.
unfortunately, the word intention, is understood by the different people in very different way.
Absolutely, yes. Yes. I
You know what I
mean,
mean? So basically, we
do
not
you mean in a negative way, or I don't understand it really? It's just,
no.
of course,
To be
it
honest,
would be understood different ways.
there is no negative and there is no positive way. The
Sure.
such a things do not exist. It doesn't exist anything like a positive and a negative energy. Everything is just simply energy. It's just the point of your view.
Sure.
It depends on what side of the fence you're sitting. So I've been asked, many questions by the people. Okay, if you're trying, to give someone a good intention. For me, the word intention is obviously not appropriate word, but the people they used to it to use that word.
Sure.
But I'm asking them, what do you really mean by the intention? Because my intention from your perspective can be wrong, but from my perspective is very good.
But what wouldn't that the good or bad matters in this case? Like good intention. Don't talk about the intentions good or
Everything
bad.
is the same. Everything is the same. It's absolutely
Okay.
the same. And what I'm trying to say is that stop dividing the energy on a good and bad. There is only one,
Absolutely. Totally agree.
and then we should consider that what we would like to give to someone, what Mr. Keshe very often repeating, you have to give and then you can take. But what in case when you giving let's say a hunger to someone, and you can feel in your physical mind that the hunger is actually a wrong intention, if we call that way. And what's going to happen with that person? It's nothing happened with that person, because this person is just a point of reference for us to swap the energy or something else. So that means we send that person a hunger, and we take not from that person, but we
Well,
bounce from that person our energy back as a pure love, let's say.
well, that sounded very complicated. Let me tell you what I understood. So where each person is, let's say, a unit, and as we walk, we unintentionally or intentionally create these plasma fields according to our distances or position. And
It's irrelevant. The distance is absolutely irrelevant.
okay,
There is no distance. Let's say when I get hooked up with Jackie's system, let's say, to make that clear to everyone.
sure.
And when I get connected, I just reached the ecstasy. It was something incredible. And I was thinking, okay, I get connected actually with Jackie's system. But on the end of the day, I didn't get connected with Jackie's system.
Mm-hmm.
I just get connected with myself. And that's what we have to realize. And then basically the Jackie's system was just a point of reference where my physical mind could
Yes.
send something away and attract something instead, obviously what I wanted, in a way as I wanted, and in a amount what I wanted. But the Jackie's system was actually irrelevant. And I'm living in the UK, and Jackie lives in Switzerland.
Where do you live in the UK?
Yeah.
Where do you live in the UK?
Well, that's very small, village, let's say. So I think that's quite irrelevant at the moment, to be
Okay.
honest with you. But you see, the distance doesn't have any meaning. as far as you're gonna reach the point when you can start segregating emotions from your physicality.
But do you
This
realize,
way,
like, as you're explaining yourself, you're explaining your own experience, as you
yes, of course,
stated,
of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but in a really nice and beautiful way. Um,
I can give you an example that happened today.
Lovely.
I went to a park and got out of the car, and to my surprise, someone that I needed to speak with, a local person, happened to be getting out of their car and going down the same lonely trail with nobody else around as I was. So we had a conversation about that, and I left the park. I came back later and got out of the vehicle to meet someone. And this other person that I knew, I hardly know any people in this area, but this other person just happened to be getting out of their car and going down the path at the exact same moment that I was getting out of my car to go down as well. And this happened twice in one day. And it was just like these emotional connections had to occur at this time, and the distance didn't matter. It was just the connections had to get, it was part of it's a natural connecting, you might say, of emotions. And if you follow that, then that's the way things happen in a sort of miraculous way or sort of magical way, but it's actually
Magical.
scientifically based, due to the laws of similarity and wishing and intent and working with emotion.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, either everything is coincidence or nothing is coincidence. There's two basic
Reed,
states.
may I ask you a question, please?
Mm-hmm.
What was the purpose of exchange? Because those meetings wasn't the coincident meetings. There was a purpose of exchange.
Well, yes, depending on how high of a purpose you want to go with it in a way. Um,
In a way, how you feel it.
well, it was very, very powerful for me because it was important to connect with this person, and it felt like this is something that's an important key that's will unlock other doorways, let's say, and so on. It's just like a chance, almost a chance coincidence that had to happen in order for the universe to keep working properly or something like that.
So how did you feel when you back to your vehicle, when you back to your car? Did you had a feeling of joy?
Oh, I always have a smile to myself a bit when these kind of things happen, but I take it take it totally natural now, and I expect it to happen that way. I totally expect it, and I just turn to people, and it's not like a big surprise and oh my god, this is just mind blowing. I can't believe. No, it's just this is the way it works. It's happened enough to me that I trust now that um, I'll just be in the place where I need to be. Others will be in the position they need to be, and we'll have these interchanges, especially more and more on that emotional, spiritual level. And certain little interchanges need to take place. It could be a little blessing. It could be someone getting a little rejuvenation hit or something, or someone else might just need to, see some familiarity in someone else's eyes that, oh yeah, right, that's who I am. They recognize that familiarity, that we are in our essential self. We are like the same being. We're one being, and that can get picked up, I think.
But what that actually brought to your emotional environment? did you try to understand it in a way, not understand it like in a physical way, but did you try to understand it in a emotional way? What actually those meetings brought to you?
There's always some intention or some meaning that could be extracted out of it, you might say. But mostly it's the event happens and there's a feeling of gratitude and giving, and there doesn't have to be a lot more around it, I don't think. It's mostly this feeling of gratitude. As long as that's there, then all the parts seem to fall into place properly. I don't know if that quite
Yeah, but I'm all
explained it.
about, during those meetings, is that being taken away something from you, or is something being given to you?
It feels more like, we talked about this a little bit actually earlier today, about the idea that it's a giving and taking at the same time. But some people that have been giving too much in their life have to learn to receive at the same time, or learn to open up enough to receive. We talked about it as people that are. My one friend that mentioned that she was always giving in the past, giving, just giving everything to everyone that she could, like, and just putting out all the time, and that in her course, she's taking a therapy, a psychological course, and so on, and she's learning that that people are considering her selfish for giving all the time, because she never allows time, or not never, but seldom allows time for receiving from these people, and she's always trying to to make it things happen and so on, but not being on the receiving end of it. So there's an expression of someone being selfish in spite of their giving, because they're not not able to receive, because people need that what they're giving is being received, and that's even more important than getting from someone else in a way. So this is the part of the realization through interacting with others about this giving and receiving thing. It gives us a framework to evaluate whether are we giving, are we receiving, are we doing both, is there, what kind of exchange is going on in this circumstance. So I think, and what our conclusion was in the conversation earlier today was that balance is the key factor. That it's not about giving more or receiving more. It's about balancing the giving and receiving more. That is the balance that's important, not the not particularly adjusting the giving or receiving, but adjusting the balance of that, so that we're always in a place, or working toward a place of balance, rather than trying to give more, trying to receive more, and that striving for those adjustments.
So true.
Yeah, so basically, when you back home, and basically when you had those meetings with that people, totally accidentally, let's say, how that actually those meetings affect the rest of your day?
Well, to me, the perspective is it's not accidental at all. It's just
Yeah, but
it's
yeah, I
part
know
of
it's like,
the natural flow of the universe. It's the parts where we're surprised by it. That's the accidental part, and that's, like I mentioned before. Either you can have the perspective that either everything is coincidence, like, whoa, what a coincidence. Or nothing is coincidence. Like you totally expect that that is the way the universe works, and you put total trust that you will show up at this parking lot. The other person that you needed to get a hold of, that you couldn't get a hold of on the phone earlier, twice, couldn't contact them personally, had no way of contacting them, suddenly shows up after not seeing them for a year and a half. That's,
You know, I love the way how you use the word trust, because that's the key to everything. Because actually, can you actually explain a bit more about that word trust, which one you're using? That was a
well,
trust.
yeah, it's a trust in the universe, in trust that your needs will be handled, and that the situations that you need to be in will come up exactly the way that they need to come up, and the issues that come up will be exactly what needs to be dealt with in that situation, and that whatever comes up will be handled well and will have a positive outcome, and that you start to if you develop it's a type of, you could say, positive thinking or positive attitude, but it's way more than that. It's the mood, or the emotion of the essential self. It's the way the essential self moves, is through emotional movement, rather than, it's not intellectual movement of, oh, it's 5 o'clock, it's time to go, leave work and go home and catch the bus and blah blah blah, all this mental chatter and beta brain activity that we have, trying to figure things out and worrying about things, and all the emotional traumas involved with with certain influences and conditions and so on.
Okay, so may I ask you another following question? That's gonna be the last one. Sorry for questioning
No,
you
no,
so
this
much.
is great. This is how we penetrate more and how we get some deeper answers, I think. So carry on.
But in your personal opinion, how do you think is the trust is not a key of a creation?
Say that again. How do we?
If we're saying about the trust, are
Mm-hmm.
we talking about the trust not to other people or other things, but to ourselves? How, in your opinion, the trust is actually the essence of the creation?
Right, right. Well, that's what it ties into. Is it's the impression of who you have to ask yourself and answer the question, who am I, and who am I really, and keep asking that. Who? No, no, really, not that. But who am I really? No, not that either. Who am I really? And so on, and eventually it comes down to a close relationship with what we call the absolute, or some might say God, or other such words. But if you use absolute, it kind of takes some of the edge off of the masculine, feminine aspects and that kind of thing that comes up. But it becomes a trust in the universe, you might say, or trust the um, in the absolute, in that basically that it's all one being. It's all one being experiencing itself. The creator experiencing itself. So if it's all basically if the phenomena we see is basically illusion, and but yet the creator is there experiencing itself, then the things that happen, we don't have to be fearful, we don't have to be have any particular reactions and so on. It gives us more of an ability to act rather than react, number one. So we can start to create moods and create our environment rather than be subject to it or react to it. Um, um, it goes along with the old thing of being, I am here now, being totally present in the environment. You're so present that the presence of your presence is enough to is enough to do all the work, you might say. So you don't have to manipulate the situation to make sure that person connects. Like there's no way, short of using stopwatches and very, very synchronized movements, that these two vehicles could have come into this remote parking lot. We're in this park at the very end of the road, and the people involved that needed to meet each other happened to meet at that time and place without expecting to do so. It's you would not be able to, literally, when the doors opened of the vehicle, and then the person was right there standing in front of me as soon as I opened my door, basically. And I was like, wow, hi, good to see you here, sometimes when that happens, I at a cafe or something, I just say, okay, now let's call the meeting to order, as if we just naturally we're going to have a meeting at that time, as if we are all right on time for the meeting, and let's get down to business. So I think part of it is having a bit of a playful attitude with it, so you can, because the universe or the absolute does have a playful, what do you call it, sense of humor, and the humor is often irony, but sometimes it's just this thing with coincidence. And I think the powers that be, the angels that look down on us, or entities, gods, absolute, whatever you like to say, I think they like to do things like, well, let's put this being together with this being and see what happens. That should be good for a laugh. And sure enough, these two beings bump into each other and find out they have these common things, and they both like to, raise their consciousness, and they end up engaging in such a way that it does that for both of them, a mutual, reciprocal initiation process, and so on and so forth. And I think it's one of these higher games that are great fun to play for entities to get people to connect in these kinds of ways, to make them realize who they are, and who they can be by interacting with each other, how to raise the bar, so to speak. Anyway.
There's a real quantum physics aspect to this, that as soon as you start to rationalize it, engage your brain to analyze it, you change it. It's like the observed experiment. By observing it, you change the outcome.
Right.
It just goes completely against it. Yeah. So you just accept it for what it is, and if it brings you joy, great. It's and you just don't think about it too much and move on. Because you analyze it, you're using your head instead of feeling, using your emotion.
Yeah, not to get trapped into overanalyzing, and realize that
it's a self-touch thing. Yeah,
it comes from a place. Many of those abilities or coincidences seem to come from a place of having just a simple objective observation of the situation, and then all the pieces of the puzzle kind of just fall into place without having to force things or impose your own will on the situation as such. You just impose your attention in a pure, objective, observing point of view, and that's enough to, like you said before, the act of observation is often enough to cause change in itself, and often the changes that need to take place happen just from that active, impartial, objective observation. So that's one way that you can move forward through these space changes and so on to try to attain a higher perspective on the situation that's in front of you.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, beautiful.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
who's that, sorry?
This is Mark from Detroit, Michigan.
Okay, hi.
Hi. This is my first time joining your group, but I've been listening to you for a long, long time.
Okay.
And I really appreciate everything you've done for us. I mean, you are real when it comes to this thing.
Well, thank you very much.
I don't know if it's too late to talk.
Well, go for it. We're a little over here, let's say, but that's fine. Let's take it a bit further. And this is some important stuff coming out here. So,
well, I just wanted to input and say that I look forward to every time I can talk about this. And Detroit, Michigan is a part of, we've had engineers, we've had a lot of innovation here. And I think I'm so excited just to talk to you. It's not even funny right now. I have a lot of stuff that I've been working on.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been scared to show it.
Well, this is the place to show it, and then you get used to it, and then you can maybe show it in the Knowledge Seekers Workshop if it's applicable, and that kind of thing.
No, I'm not going to show it in the Knowledge Seekers.
Okay.
No. I barely got past this point.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? I could just see myself on the screen here, and I was wide open for everybody, and now at least I got myself muted to where at least I can talk.
Yeah.
Feel comfortable.
Well, I wasn't very comfortable just starting these workshops to start with, like 3 years ago or whatever it was. There's a bit of paranoia with everybody about getting exposed in the public and about these ideas. We're working with reactors, and we're working with all these exotic gases and this kind of thing, and there was a bit of let's say scariness is just because of putting oneself out there and not knowing if it would be accepted, if it would all be shut down immediately by the powers that be or something like that.
It's a bit of apprehension.
Yes, absolutely. But it's been such a wonderful, pleasurable experience all the way through. We have not been harassed other than with various trolls and maybe a couple of certain groups and so on and so forth. But
yes,
we've all gotten much stronger through the processes that have transpired, and now we're the people around the world that are associated with the Keshe Foundation and even with this group alone are very tight in certain ways. We have deep connections. It's not just
we're friends.
It's not for the money. It's not for the really the thrill of like a sport thrill or something like that. But it's a friendship, and it's a deep kind of friendship because we talk about feelings, for example, which is something that's almost been taboo especially for men to talk about. We've had to go through a lot of traumas in the online teachings just to even mention the word, it seems. And
I'll bet Libby just fell off her chair.
So, this is
Hi,
Libby. How you doing, Libby?
I'm glad I didn't sleep in too long. Welcome aboard, Mark. I know how you feel, but now I feel like I'm home every time I come here. It's like, I'm going to keep hanging out with the guys, but there are women here.
Yeah, well, that's right. You felt a little apprehensive when you first came out of the closet there, Libby? Or how was that for you?
It was a joyful reunion with brothers and sisters. Is how it becomes. And Mark, you were if you can wake up early enough. This is such a great group. This is for sure where you can show anything you've created that has even any nearness to what Keshe is doing. So I'm anxious to see what you're creating.
Well, I have a lot of stuff, and maybe tonight's not the night to do it, but I look forward to it.
Okay, great.
You have a favorite piece?
Pardon me?
Do you have one favorite piece, or are they all incredible devices? I know I have a struggle to do.
I really do, and it scares me just to show it.
Well, depending on how scared you are, maybe you're able to talk about it this week, and maybe you're able to show a picture of it the next week, and maybe a video the week after that or something, right? So we have to sort of...
I do it right now, but what Mr. Keshe said for Thursday's teaching is way more important than what I have to show. I just wanted to come on tonight because I have some stuff that I've been working. I've learned a lot of stuff since October of 15, and you know, I've just sat quietly. But I think that tomorrow or Thursday, what's today, Wednesday? So tomorrow or Thursday is going to be a great day for everybody.
Yes, I wanted to bring that up in this workshop here, or in the plasma group. That Thursday is expected to be. Mr. Keshe wants us to promote it heavily, and he's expecting to deliver some pretty important information regarding something which we're not really clear, which it's all about yet, but about the developments of the Keshe Foundation and how important they are. They've been sort of recognized in different areas of the world, or something similar to that. So it's bound to be an intense and memorable experience, I think, coming up on the is it the 106th Knowledge Seekers Workshop? I believe it is.
I think all of us don't even have to sleep until then.
I've always wanted to ask Rick how much he gets to sleep. Do you actually
Well,
sleep at all, Rick?
I've taken a bit of time off recently, actually, to catch up on some much needed sleep, and it works. It's amazing how sleeping helps.
Yeah, it's good to hear it. You got to look after yourself.
Yeah, that's what some of us have come to the conclusion of recently, that we're burning ourselves from burning the wick at both ends, as they say about candles. The candle wick at both ends, they say. So yeah, one needs to take care of the physicality from time to time. It's fine to work for others and to do great things in the world and all that kind of stuff, but we do need to refer back that the physicality gives us as a soul the ability to work on these levels, and that's a bit of a miracle in itself, and that's one of the big advantages of being human, I think, is we're able to work through these different levels and different dimensions, and not all beings have that ability. So if we can take that into the universe, as Mr. Keshe says, that would be a great service to do for, not for humankind, but for all beings everywhere. And that includes way more than Earth. So that gets me going on another line of thinking and argument, about Earth and so on. But we're going to have to cut things off here shortly, I think. I have to prepare for online teaching coming up soon. So
Yeah,
Well,
appreciate the time, Rick.
sorry,
Thank
President.
you, Rick.
You're very welcome. Thank you, everybody, for coming by and saying hi. and
So
appreciate
my
the input.
apprehension is over now, and I will be talking more.
Yay! Thank you, Mark.
Yay.
That's the attitude. That's what it
I really
takes.
love everybody here, and I'm thankful for everything you've done. It's inspired me greatly.
Right on. Thank you very
I
much.
can't wait to share my stuff with you. I hope it helps everybody. It's helped me greatly.
Oh, it will for sure. It doesn't matter in a way what people share. It can be the very simplest of things, and every single person does things differently. And as Mr. Keshe said regarding, someone asked, how many different kinds of reactors are there? And he said, there's as many kinds of reactors as there are stars in the universe. And, you know, everybody's system is different. It's their own style and their conditions, and their whole thing goes into it. And it'll
There's
never.
a twinkle in our eye.
Yes, twinkle, twinkle, little star in her eye. That's about it.
Hey, thank you, everybody.
All right, keep your eyes twinkling, and let's keep on watching for the Knowledge Seekers 106 Knowledge Seekers workshop coming up
It'll
Thursday
be great.
at
I can't wait.
9 a.m. CET.
Until it does.
I hope that I will get some sleep. Thank you. I'll make up for it for you.
You work too hard.
Okay, well, let's wrap things up for today, guys. And once
Thank
again,
you all.
thanks everybody.
Thanks,
Okay.
Rick. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, everybody.